Welcome back to me weekly yarns. Well, had quite a busy week this week. What have we been doing all week then? Right, we received a lot of parcels this week. We're getting parts from Agriline, parts from the Davey Brown tractor parts company, and we're getting some thread bar and some big nuts. You'll see why in a minute. Been doing all right. Unfortunately, the Vectra seen better days. It developed a fuel leak. The quick connect to the fuel filter under the car, for whatever reason, started leaking. I chopped the quick connect off, put a piece of fuel line in, clipped it all up, fixed it. It was working beautifully. For whatever reason, today it's decided to pack in again. So we're gonna have a look at it. I'm going to put a little bit of petrol into it because I think it might have developed a hole in the lift pipe in the tank. There's petrol in it, but it's behaving as if it's out of petrol. So I'm going to put a little bit of petrol in, see if it might be a hole. If not, I think it's time for it to go the distance. We'll let it get a good car out the garage and start and use a good car. Really didn't want to do that, but we might have to. Couple of quick comments. One from Vincent Burrows, Evaporust. Bought some. You'll gain a couple of minutes time. You'll see what we've been doing with it. It does seem to be working. But we'll see. We'll see when we get there. See how we get on with it. And Lance made a comment again, rating on the Evaporust, the Vincent Burrows. Lance must be watching my channel, and he's come on and said, look, he does really rate this Evaporust, and we'll give it a crack. So as I say, have a look, see what you think about it. So the other day I had to order some parts from Agriline. What we did was we drilled off the old brake liners because they're knackered, right? So we drilled the rivets out, took them off. So we ordered some brake liners. The postage was, I think, about 10 quid or something for the box. So you think, well, you might as well get some more bits. So we ordered the seals for the half shafts, 4 seals. And we also ordered some hoses for the radiator. Because at some point in the not too distant future, it's going to go back together. The radiator, which is under the bench here, will go back on. And we're going to need some new hoses because all the old hoses were a little bit too old for the job, weren't they? So, and although it's not unusual, but I wanted to share this with you because I think this is really good. This is a brilliant idea, and remember me saying, when you find something good, tell people about it. So, there's my box, full of me bits from Agriline. Come on, we'll have a look and see what's inside it, eh? There's my box of bits from Agriline. I've already had this opened, but then I was so impressed with what was inside it. I close it up again so you guys could see it. Watch this. What do you think of that? Look at that. Ripped up corrugated cardboard as packing. Now, doesn't that beat anything that were then plastic bags full of air? You know what I mean? Isn't that much more environmentally friendly? If you wanted to, this is compostable. You can stick it on your compost heaps, or you could even, and what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to keep it in this box because the pump, the hydraulic, no, not the pump, the hydraulic valve chest might be going down to Barclay Williams, and this is the perfect stuff to put it in. So let's have a look. When I opened this up, this was like, I was really impressed with this. There we have top and bottom hose for the radiator. Delving down deeper, like a little lucky bag in it. There's me new brake linings with rivets. It was these I was looking for actually. And then I thought, you know what, if I'm spending 10 quid on postage, I might as well be. So there we go. Look, wait a minute, 2 ticks. Quick comparison there, we'll go spot on them, aren't they? Just the donkeys, them, with your rivets. Just the donkeys. Now, we'll pop them back in that bag for safety. Keep everything together. There should be in here as well. Oh, there's a little Betty, the blackbird just shot past the door. Ha 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 ha. Look at that, they even say parts inside, do not throw away. What we've got in here is 4 half shaft seals. There we go, 4 half shaft seals. Nice, aren't they just a business? We'll pop them back in there. Okay, I just thought I'd give you a quick look at that, and I was really impressed with that. Well done, AgriLine, for using your initiative. Big thumbs up. So yes, so I was so impressed with that. I just thought I'd share it with you. As I say, I'll be keeping a hold of that box full of bits, just in case that pump, the valve chest body needs to go away to Barclay Williams, and it'll get used up in that in a way. Well done, AgriLine. So the time's come to seriously think about putting the tractor back together. You've all seen me restricted workspace in here, and we have to have the tractor so that it's mobile. I cannot put the wheels on because I haven't got enough space. So what I need to do is make some caster frames for it. Now, there was 2 options. I was either make a whole ladder frame that went underneath the tractor, supported it on the front axle at the back, had a sliding frame that came back down the ladder, supporting the engine block, the back of the gearbox and the axle as we added them, so it will slide down and pick those components up. Or it's to create a set of legs like Lance McGaskill on Bundy Bear Shed has. If you go to Bundy Bear Shed, his Kangaroo Stews 197 part 2, part of his John Deere 2030 I think it was, where he had to split the tractor, he made a pair of legs to hold the front of the tractor up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch his idea. It was a good idea, brilliant idea. I'm going to pinch his idea and we're going to make a set of legs for the back of the tractor. And these legs are going to bolt onto initially onto the engine, where I believe at the back of the engine it's where the power steering units go on the later models, or it's where your hydraulic lifters would go if you had a lifting frame on it. So this is what we've got. I ordered 27mm high tensile thread bar, 1 meter length, 27mm washers, 10 of, 27mm full nuts, 6 of, and you'll see why in a minute. I had some quarter plate, 6mm plate actually, a 6mm plate left over from another job I was doing, well, part of this job, you'll see it in a second, it's part of this job. And I've got 100 by 50mm channel bar, just a little bit. Now then, in the absence of long channel bar, as you'll see if you've been to Lance's channel, what I had some scrap angle iron that came off some pet beds, dog beds. My son-in-law David has his own security business. Within that business, the part of that business is working dogs that like to bite people because you're bad lads, right? So he changed out the beds in the kennels, and these frames were just lying around on the farm. So what I did was salvaged the angle iron. I've still got bits and pieces here. Salvaged the angle iron. I think these beds were about 1 metre square type of thing, maybe 120 square. Cut all the angle iron off, and I've seam welded. I've seam welded 2 bits together to form a channel. I keep looking. It's in the corner. It's in the corner outside, right? So's the baby blackbird. So I cannot get at it right at this minute because her and Mummy's having a right good go at the feed worms that I put out for them. And I don't want to go. The mother's not frightened. The mother doesn't give a monkey's where you are. But the little one's a bit nervous. I'm saying little one, she's nearly the size of her mother now. But she's a bit nervous. So you'll see it when I make the legs. Believe me, right? It's just angle iron welded together to form a channel. And the idea is that this channel will get cut in half. Tell you what, let's just reposition this and see if we can do this explanation a bit better for you. Right, so as I say, can I get my channel bar? There's a little baby blackbird sitting right next to it, and I don't want to upset her. So imagine we've got the channel bar line here. What we're going to do is cut this in half, weld it into the bottom of the channel bar. I've got some 6mm plate left over from the caps that we made for here. Now this is going to be a good one, but in theory this is 300mm long, so I should be able to get 3 caps out of that bit of steel, and a 4th one out of that bit. If not, I'll get 2 out of there because it's 3x200. I should get 2 out of there. So we're going to make caps for the end of the channel bar, like such. Drill 28mm holes down through here, clearance for the thread bar, and then washer, nut. Okay. Why we've got 6 nuts was the 6th nut is to get welded into here, thread bar screwed down into it tight with Loctite. If under the pressure and the weight of the engine that this all starts to maneuver inside here, if it starts to unscrew, it'll get a quick tack around the outside. I'm not bothered about losing a short section of thread bar and a couple of nuts, you know what I mean. So what we're going to do, we'll whip the plate off, find our centre, position our nuts, weld them in, get our channel bar centred, chopped off, job done. The front end, this is only going to get the back mobile. The front end, the whole plan is where you've got the 2 extending arms that go into the front beam, the front axle beam, where the kingpins go down through. I think I might be buying some rod, steel rod, the same diameter as those kingpins. I've got a friend up in Red Row who has Red Row blacksmith shop, has a lovely lathe in the back of it. So what I might do is take the bar up, drill and tap the end of it, because those other casters have got a threaded rod attached. So then I might thread the rod into the end of the steel and simply slide it up through the main frames, through the front axle frames, so that can sit on casters. The little difficulty there, anybody will know, is that the front frames sit on an angle, don't they? They're not parallel to the ground. They've got a caster angle on them. So that'll put me casters on an angle to the ground. We might have to look at putting a little bend in. We'll see. We'll see when we get to that step, or we might create something slightly different for the front end, but it has to be mobile, because that is the only distance I've got to which I can start building things up. If it's mobile, then it can, well, that's my engine there, right? So if it's mobile, then in theory, if that was turned around, the tombstone with the axle on would fit into the little gap that I've got at the front. Everything else would go up against the side there. When I want to work on it, I can pull it out. My toolboxes and that can come back up this side. That's the theory. You know about theories, don't you? Never mind. My parcel from Davey Brown Tractors has arrived. Let me see what we've got in it, eh? Should be 4 items. 4 little items. Here we've got our bill. And we have hydraulic lever disc seal, £3. Belleville washer, £1. No, that's VAT. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong figures here. Hydraulic lever disc seal. I think what they mean is the friction disc. That's what should be in here anyway. 2 at £8.25 each. The Belleville washer, new Belleville washer, £6.60. The hand throttle friction disc, £8.50. £2 carriage. VAT, £6.72. Bah, Boris likes his bit, doesn't he? Eh? Boris always likes his bit. So let's have a look what we've got here. As I say, there should be 4 items in here. So we've got new Belleville washer, which is a spring washer. It's not a split in the usual sense. It's dished. It's dished in that sense. Look, that it's got a bevel on it, so that when you put tension on this, when you put tension on here, it creates a spring tension on here. We used to use these when I was an apprentice to actually make high tension springs, compression springs, high pressure compression springs. So we have here 2 friction discs for the hand throttle, no, for the hydraulic quadrant, and this is the mama for the hand throttle. Mind, they look substantial gear. I thought I was going to get like a cork washer, but no, they look good, jolly good. Right, that's why Davey Brown tractor parts in. So now, after we got our quadrant painted, we can start and reassemble it. And we've got our bits for our hand throttle, so we can start and put that back together when we get the tractor started, which shouldn't be so long. Speaking of the tractor, right, so as I mentioned before, we are on the verge of beginning to put the tractor back together. Once we get these legs made, we'll sort out what we're going to do with the front end. We will start and reassemble. As part of the reassembly, we now have to look at, have we got all the nuts and bolts to bolt the frame back together? Because I know when we took it to bits, they weren't all there. On me parts manual, and I'll show you a quick screen grab of this, it gives you numbers and sizes of bolts and studs, washers that are required to put the front tombstone on, the extension to the frame, the front tombstone, and the gearbox to the engine casting, the centre part of the main frame. So we're going to look at those now. We're going to see if we got all our bits and pieces. Now, as I said, can't remember a while ago, Colin did send me down a big box of nuts and bolts when he stripped off that axle, and I just said to him, if you've got any spare nuts and bolts, put them in a bucket please and send it down to us. And he did. He cracking like that, Colin. So we're going to have a look at what I have in my bag here. We're then going to go up to the farm and we're going to look at the farm and see what we have got in terms of spare nuts and bolts. and we'll see if we can put together enough to get this together in with the right lengths of nuts and bolts. I'm not going to be starting to put extra sized nuts and bolts in. I'm not going to put short ones in because that just stresses everything. And if you start to put long ones in, well, we've seen with the back axle, haven't we? What happens when you put long bolts in, it pushes the back of the castings out and you end up with major problems. Because other than, if it hadn't been for the flanges, if those flanges on the rear axle case weren't burst, the axle was still scrap because of the person putting the 4 bolts in, top and bottom, and bursting the back of that casting open. Just for the sake of, you know, try the bolt in the hole first. I'll look at the parts manual. It'll tell you how many, how long, what size. Cut them to length if you have to. If not, go and buy the right length. Do not destroy a casting for the sake of over tensioning a bolt and bursting the back out of them castings. Right, let's get everything spread out and we'll have a measure, eh? As we can see from our screenshot here, we require to fasten the tombstone on, we need 7/16 UNC. They're all 7/16 UNC, these nuts, studs. Sorry, bolts and studs. I've got no excuse because it's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not 5 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, right, we need, for to fasten the tombstone on, we need 4 1.75" UNC bolts with washers. We also need 6 2 5/16 studs with nuts and washers. That's for the tombstone on the front. For the main frame to the gearbox, we require 4 1.75" 7/16 UNCs bolts. We require 6 2 3/4" UNC 7/16 UNC bolts. Now, what have we got? We have got 7. No, we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2 3/4" UNC bolts there. These 2 are out of the clutch cover, the bell housing cover that goes through the bell housing into the back of the block. I think they're the ones that go through that wedge plate as well. UNC studs. We have got here 6 UNC studs, 2 5/16, and we have got 6 nuts. Washers really aren't important at the minute. I've got boxfuls of washers, so we will have enough washers to make sure that all of these get their washers on. Okay, what have we got now? 1 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 4 for the back, 4 for the front, 1 3/4. Now, the issue we have here is that some of those are about a thread longer. I think there's 3 that are a thread longer than the rest of them. So what we're going to do, we will use the 4 up to put the front on, and then when we've got everything stable, the 4 little ones, the 4 shorter ones, will go into the front. That's a longer one there. It's about a thread longer. There's another one there, you can see them. So what we're going to do, we'll pop the 4 short ones into the front. We will test fit these ones into the back with new washers on. I'm not putting double washers on. If they need to be shortened, they will get cut. We will cut, or we will grind the thread off the end so that they're all the same length and they all are correct. 2 big dowels to line up the gearbox to the back of the engine case. So what we are, 1 2 3/4 short, and possibility that here we have a little issue with 3 of the bolts being possibly too long. I think I'm right in saying that the holes they go into, none of them are through holes, therefore it matters. Their length does matter. If it was a through hole and they're simply going to pop out the back by a thread, you would get away with that. So when it's a blind hole and you're pushing up against the back of the casting, it really does matter. Yeah, they will go tight. You'll either pull the threads out or you'll pop the back off the casting. So we will end up cutting them and we will get them to fit correctly. But we've got about a week, 10 days maybe, before we start and put this back together. Because we've got to get these legs built first, then we've got to think of some way of supporting the front end, haven't we? It'll get done. The ongoing saga of the valve chest. 2 seconds. It's still there. Just cleaned the little dish out. It was minging. I didn't realise there was so much dirt on that. It was absolutely minging. So, through the week, I got a message of Vincent Burrows, Evaporust. He suggested trying Evaporust, soak the valve chest in Evaporust, see if it would do any good. Can it do any harm, can it? Lance McGaskill, Bundy Bear Shed, must have been watching the channel, reading a few of your comments, and I got a comment of Lance which said he really rated this product in its ability to remove rust, and that it might actually benefit the seats that were the slightly corroded seats from everything that was removed anyway out of there. So I bought a litre of Evaporust, cleaned that tray out. We're now going to pour the Evaporust onto there. We're going to leave it for 24 hours, see how we get on. Right. So here we go, 1 litre of Evaporust. Well, it's expensive stuff this, so I'm going to pour gently. Into all the little holes. Let it come up slowly. You can see that pouring through. Try it into there, because that's where the lowering rate, the needle valve goes in. And there's a hole in the bottom of there directly into the bottom of the spool that is stuck. I don't know what this product is. I've seen it used a lot on YouTube, and quite a few people do rate it. So the whole of the chest's covered except for these cast flanges, but all the holes and everything in there is covered. We're going to leave that for 24 hours and we'll see where we end up. I might, if it doesn't come free, I might end up putting it back in again. God, I can see, I don't know what, there's bubbles and all sorts coming out of here. But 24 hours we'll come back and see what it's like. Alright, 24 hours time, we'll come back, we'll have a look at it. What harm can it do? Can it do any harm at all, can it? I think it was 15 quid for the bottle off eBay. Can it really do any harm? We'll put the lid down, we'll push it down there out the way, leave it overnight, come back in the morning and have a look. Right, 24 hours later, here we are, back in my garage, and we've pulled the valve chest out of the parts washer. We've got it up here, there we go. Still soaking. I've had it out of there earlier today and had a look. The spool is still stuck. However, putting it back in, around here, a little bit of a cloud of rust coming out of that hole. You never know, it might, there's something coming out, isn't there? There's something coming out. So we'll give it another 24 hours and we'll see. something's moving. I mean, around the rim of that little margarine tub, it's quite a ring. See around here, it's quite a ring of rust, isn't there? Quite a ring of dirt. So something's moving somewhere in it. So things are progressing. Things are progressing. It's been raining terribly today. We're getting some marking out done towards these legs, getting all the steel work marked out. I've managed to rescue from the corner what is going to be my channel bar. So I managed to get that today whilst the little dicky birds were in a different part of the garden. But I haven't been able to get them cut up today because they've been in the garden all day and like fairly close. So no, I don't want to frighten them. What we're going to do is I'll wait a couple of days. The size of them, they're starting to get the tail feathers now. They should be away before long. We're going to give the valve chest another 24 hours in there, see what's going on. I don't want to put a welding rod down there and tack it to the end of that. I don't. I'm worried in case a spatter comes off and gets into the other bits of that inside the valve and causes some problems for us. I'm quite happy for to send it down to Barclay Williams for them to do that, because with their experiences they've got a lot better chance of getting it right than me. So we'll give it till Monday. Well, Tuesday. I'm at work on Monday. We'll give it till Tuesday, and we're going to make a decision on Tuesday as to whether it's staying or going. Right, well that's it for this week's Weekly Yarns. As I say, we're going to have a look on Tuesday, let me mind at what's happening with that valve chest. Well, I think it may be going down the road, like, but to see if it can get salvaged. I need to give Barclay Williams a ring and see what we're going to do. I think I'll probably have to send all of my kit with it to get it down there. Right, well that's it for this week then, isn't it? We'll be off to our car boot sale shortly. See if we're going to pick something else up. You know what I'm like, I do like a good car boot sale. Get plenty of toys. Right, well thanks for visiting. Don't forget now, if you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up. Like and subscribe. Tell your mates all about where. Hopefully we'll get the channel to continue to grow. We are up to 2 seconds, I think. We are up to 235 subscribers today. So we're doing really well. As I say, I think it was last week I mentioned, since Lance gave it a shout out on Bundy Bear Shade, I think we gained about 25-ish subscribers. So big thank you, Lance. Big thank you. It was really helpful. It would be nice to see it continue to grow. It'd be nice to get it to the 300, wouldn't it, or 350 by the end of July. Keep going. Right. So that's it, as I say, for this week. Thank you very much. Take care. We'll see you next time. Remember, don't overthink it. It's just nuts and bolts.